Hello and welcome everybody to Game 2 of EGIdrA versus LiquidHuK. In Game 1 we saw an amazing push from LiquidHuK where he was able to just keep up a lot of harassment with an early Stargate, got a lot of early pressure in, was able to keep EGIdrA on 2 bases and then pushed in with a lot of gateway units and was able to do quite a bit of damage, kept force fielding EGIdRA's ramp and was able to just apply a lot of pressure, take out the natural expansion, and all of EGIdRA's reinforcements were stuck on the high ground, unable to do anything, and EG's EGIdRA was forced to GG. So, as I said, this is Game 2. I do know that the game is in faster mode right now. I'm at ×2 speed right now because this video is just this game is going to be slightly over 15 minutes, so I am going to need to speed it up a little bit if I'm going to need to fit it in 15 minutes, so I will go back to slowing it down once we get into the later stages of the game. Now, if you missed part 1, this is Game 2 of a best of 3 from the North American BattleNet Invitational. This happened just a little while ago in Irvine, California, and this was a match that I missed, so I thought I would cast it for everybody to see as well as myself. Now, Huck, we do see, has a Nexus going down very, very fast. Holy cow, is that a fast Nexus. Just a pylon has gone down, his Nexus is now coming down, and he is now placing a forge at the ramp. EGIdRA is now placing down a hatchery of his own after that spawning pool has gone up. EGIdRA playing very, very safe there. Always like this move now. This is starting to become the norm for those Zerg players. Forge now up, and it looks like Huck is going to be quite safe doing this move, as there are a couple of lings moving across the map now, but these are just going to be scouting lings. These are just going to poke in there, see what's going on, and see that really not much has gone on. Checking around, just like in Game 1, smart play here by EGIdRA, checking around, seeing if there are any proxies, but there is one probe that is hiding over here in the corner that I would be just a little bit of, that I think is just a little bit suspicious, and I might just be a little bit worried about. Alright, we're going to slow down this game now because I think I've now sufficiently sped it up to the point where I can now cast the rest of the game at a normal speed and hopefully put it into a 15-minute video on YouTube. I really don't want to have to make them. I hate doing the part 1 and part 2. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hate doing the part 1 and part 2 thing. I love it because when I go on YouTube, I like to just be able to watch a video and have the whole game be contained in one video. I think that's beautiful when that happens. But when you have to click through part 1, part 2, one is only 8 minutes long, the other one's like 9 minutes long. It's just such a pain, so I like to try to keep my videos to 1 until I get that YouTube partner position where I can actually upload videos longer. Now, EGIdRA scouting that Huck has gone for that fast expand style is instantly throwing down his 3rd hatchery, but he's going to have to be very careful because Huck does have this probe here that looks like he's sneaking up into here, and yes, he is going to be placing a pylon so that he can do some early harassment to this 3rd base. In the base of Huck so far, the Cybernetics Core has just finished, just now starting that Warp Gate research. Gateway has come up, producing sentries. There's one photon cannon at the front to prevent all those early ground units from EGIdRA. And so EGIdRA is completely happy in this position. This is the kind of position that EGIdRA loves to be in, as he is just going to be macroing like a beast. If we check out the Harvester tab, we can actually see that EGIdRA is actually slightly behind right now. Huck has been chrono boosting those probes out like crazy. But notice he is saving up a little bit of energy on both of his Nexuses, or Nexi. Saving up some energy on his Nexi right now, as EGIdRA is just now passing him up in the worker count. 3rd base is now up. Looks like he is getting that pretty well saturated very fast, and there is nothing Huck can do about it at the moment. But wait, what do we have here? More gateways being thrown down, 2 more gateways, so it looks like we do have a 4-gate here coming up from Huck. Note this is not a rush 4-gate. This is a delayed 4-gate on 2 base. This is a perfectly normal and not cheesy move there. EGIdRA did actually scout that pylon. Nice vision there on that mini-map. Saw that pylon, decided we'd go in there, finish it off, be sure that there is no trickery here from LiquidHuK. Now, Huck actually is not mining off of this one gas. A little bit of a mistake there by Huck. All his other gases are currently mining, but he has no workers. Just now sending workers to start mining on that assimilator. One Overlord now going in for EGIdRA. EGIdRA is way up in the food count, 64 to 48, and we can see that in the Harvester tab, we can see that most of that is devoted to those workers, as EGIdRA is now up quite a bit, 51 to 44 Harvesters for EGIdRA. 2 Overlords actually coming into the base. I love this play by EGIdRA. I always love the double Overlord scout because a lot of times your opponent won't see both Overlords, and at least one of them will be able to get into the base, and you get full vision of your opponent's base. LiquidHuK, though, now with a couple of sentries and a bunch of stalkers now moving out, looks like he's going to try to apply some early pressure here. He is bringing a probe with him so that he will be able to place some forward pylons, or he might actually be expanding. Oh, LiquidHuK is expanding. EGIdrA is going to come in here, and he doesn't even have Zergling speed yet. That's incredible. His Zergling speed just now finishing. +1 melee attack also on the production tab for EGIdrA, and he's going to be scouting around, checking for that third base, but he is not going to know quite yet that Huck has actually planted down this third base here and is actually going for a very macro-heavy style of play. More Zerglings now moving across the field. Looks like they are going to be able to see that expansion has gone down, and yes, they are seeing into there, seeing the timing of that Nexus, and they are just going to have to pull back. I think might get a free probe kill there. Free probe kill goes down for EGIdrA, and looks like EGIdrA is macroing like a beast. If we check out the Harvester tab, 68 Harvesters to 55 Harvesters. That is so many Harvesters. So EGIdrA is going to be feeling pretty good about himself. Knowing that Huck is getting this third base, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see EGIdrA go for a quick fourth here, or most likely here. The army of Huck now is starting to get rather big. I wouldn't be surprised to see a push out here from Huck. He knows that EGIdrA scouted his expansion, so he's going to start to feel like if he doesn't apply some pressure, then EGIdrA might start massing up a pretty big army, which EGIdrA is starting to do. As we can see, 13 roaches are on the production tab. We do see the pneumatized carapace, as well as the glial reconstitution. That is speed for overlords and speed for roaches, so it looks like EGIdrA is planning for a big attack now that he is saturated on 3 bases, so we are going to see some huge 3-base aggression here from EGIdrA. EGIdrA trying to go for a little bit of a counterattack. Some Zerglings are trying to sneak around, but it looks like they are going to be denied by some very nice warpins there from Huck. And all the forces of Huck here behind the Zerglings, able to catch them and get most of those Zerglings. Lots of forces, though, now being rallied for EGIdrA, as he is now feeling pretty comfortably saturated on 3 base. +2 melee attack is now coming up, and we are actually seeing pathogen glands come down. Do we yet have a Baneling nest for EGIdrA for him to start doing Baneling drops? Is that what we are going to be seeing here? No, we actually see Infestation Pit with pathogen glands coming up, but look at this, Huck is now moving up into the third base of EGIdrA. EGIdrA is going to need to pull all of his force if he's going to want to be able to deny this many Stalkers from destroying his third base. And sure enough, he is warping in, he's now morphing in, rather, tons of Zerglings, spreading creep like a boss, trying to get that creep spread up and going so that all his units, connecting all of his bases and getting as much vision as he can. Again, trying to send some Zerglings out to try to do a little bit of a Zergling counterattack, trying to pick off a Stalker and wasn't quite able to get a full surround on it, and those Lings are now forced to pull back. And it looks like EGIdrA is now pulling back with those Lings, just continuing to macro up a ton of roaches. No Hydralisk Den yet down for EGIdrA, which I'm kind of surprised by, as in Game 1 we saw the Hydralisk Den. EGIdrA is a huge fan of Hydralisks in this matchup, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen it go down. We actually have a Spire now coming down, along with 4 Infestors now coming up onto the field, and we are seeing EGIdrA now move to Hive Tech. In the base of LiquidHuK, we have now seen that 3 warp gates are here. Let's see, what do we got? A total of 5 warp gates. It looks like the Robo Facility is now down. +1 armor is now on the way. +1 attack upgrade also on the way. Ground weapons level 2 is now being researched for LiquidHuK. And we see the Robotics Bay now coming down. He has seen that EGIdRA's going to be going for this primarily Roach-based army, so he is going to be trying to get down a lot of Colossi so that he can try to stop all these Roaches. He does have 1 Immortal on the field, but EGIdRA's soon going to be getting out some Infestors, soon going to be getting out some, not Colossi, rather Corruptors that he is now going to be bringing onto the field, as the Spire has now gone down. 1 macro hatch up for EGIdRA right now. He is macroing like a boss, 190 food to 150 food. He really needs to attack soon. The Protoss army really starts to get scary around about the 170 food mark, so it's always a good idea to hit some kind of a timing attack before Protoss can hit that about 170, 175 food mark, and that is about what EGIdRA is going to be facing here if he doesn't attack very soon, because once Protoss gets to that 170 food death ball, it gets to be a very scary push, even for a full 200 Zerg army to have to deal with. Huck knows exactly what EGIdRA is macroing up, as he does have this observer out in the field. Zerglings now running around, scouting that this army is now moving forward for Huck. Looks like Huck is going to choose to sit back, and I guarantee you, I would put money on it, that once Huck hits about 170, 175 food, that is when he's going to be moving out. And we now see that his ground armor has now finished. Attack upgrades for level 2 ground weapons has now completed. and looks like he might be pushing for a nice +2/+2 timing attack with Colossi, as we now see that Colossus is now coming out onto the field. EGIdrA trying to move around the field with these roaches, trying to take out one of these warp gates. Looks like he is going to see the warp gate go down. The warp gate does go down. HuK still waiting back, still at that 170 food marks. Looks like he's not quite going to go there. EGIdrA has some lings there placed to prevent any kind of a fourth from HuK. Infestors starting to gather up a lot of energy. This is going to have to be very carefully controlled from HuK. These Infestors fungal growths can still do massive amounts of damage. We are actually going to see a patch, I think soon. A patch has just hit the public test realm, or the PTR, and I think they're actually nerfing the damage of the Infestors from the looks of it. But that patch is not yet in effect, so these Infestors still deal massive amounts of damage to these large units. EGIdrA now maxed at 200 army. HuK sitting at 182 food right now. He is about to be maxed. I am surprised that EGIdrA has not moved out at all. He's waiting right now. He has his +3 melee attacks coming up right now. Adrenal glands, that is attack speed for those Zerglings, is about to be finished. That upgrade will increase the attack speed of those Zerglings by 20%. And Broodlords, we now have Broodlords coming out onto the field. There are, if we check out the unit counting station right now, we can see that there are currently 4 Corruptors on the field, but they are all being morphed into Broodlords, so he is not going to be keeping too many Corruptors out on the field, but this maxed army of HuK is now moving across the field. EGIdrA is going to need to be very careful with his control if he's going to want to deal with this size of an army from LiquidHuK. EGIdrA has seen this force now with that Zergling that he has moved forward. A lot of Infestors here, 9 Infestors on the field. Roach is getting into position. These Broodlords are about to be ready to attack, and all the forces. EGIdrA actually now sitting at 206 food. This is done. You can complete this by throwing down a lot of Spine Crawlers, and then macroing up more forces, and then canceling the Spine Crawlers, and then send your drones back to mining, and you can actually get above 200 food that way. So I've seen players get up to about 230 food that way. And so, looks like HuK is now trying to poke in, trying to find the proper attack angle, and oh no, all these Broodlords are caught out of position. 2 Broodlords instantly go down. Fungal growth goes down on some of those Stalkers, but not enough are caught in that fungal growth. These few will be taken out, unless HuK blinks them back. Yeah, and there's the blink back by HuK. EGIdrA sitting back on this 200 army. He really needs to be poking in all over the place. Now getting up a 5th base. 4th base has been up and running for a while. HuK just content actually to sit back, continuing to upgrade, getting out some Immortals. More Colossi are coming out onto the field, and HuK is actually getting up his 5th base. This is starting to look like a very, very scary Protoss player to have to deal with EGIdrA being very, very passive in this game. I do not think that this is the way to go. But EGIdrA is, of course, the pro, and I am not, so we're going to see how EGIdrA has to deal with this max 200 army. And EGIdrA now actually sending in those, that was not a misrally there, all those lings EGIdrA is sending in because he wants to get rid of his weaker units and wants to be able to clear up some supply for those larger, those bigger, beefier late-game units. So if we check out the upgrades for EGIdrA right now, EGIdRA's roaches are actually not upgraded at all. This could be a bit of a mistake by EGIdrA. Those roaches need to be able to tank a lot of damage. They have no attack upgrades. EGIdrA actually, now that I think about it, has been killing off all his Zerglings, for which he has been upgrading this entire game. Hallucinated Void Rays are now out on the field for LiquidHuK, and so many forces of EGIdrA now moving in. Fungal growth's going off on all the units of HuK, and HuK is taking a lot of damage. I am not sure who's going to be able to take this. Blinkstalkers blinking in, trying to take out as many of those Broodlords as they can, and EGIdrA being forced to retreat, a lot of his forces falling to the forces of LiquidHuK, and HuK now moving in with a ton of units. Tons and tons of Stalkers now moving in. All the Infestors do fall. Broodlords are morphing in, but I just don't think it is going to be able to hold off all these forces of LiquidHuK. And yes, HuK is now moving in with a ton of forces. EGIdrA rallying in more Zerglings to try to deal with this, but these Colossi are just being so strong right now, taking out so many Zerglings, so many kills, and GG from EGIdrA. This game is over. This series is over. That means that HuK has defeated EGIdrA 2-1 in the North American BattleNet Invitational. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game. If you guys did enjoy that game, please comment, please subscribe, do all that stuff. I'm going to end this now because I think I'm about to go over 15 minutes, so yeah! Thanks for watching, guys. Glitch out.